I think you should read this book, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I was really enjoying this one. Hi guys, this is Dan. Today I want to talk about a book that I recently really like, which is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. At first, I was a little bit underwhelmed by the synopsis because this book is actually based on true Chinese history and she was playing with true real-life character or even swapping the gender. I was like, what? But after finishing this book, I completely changed my mind because I really like it and I hope you will like it as well. This book, like I said, was set in real-life Chinese history. It is based on a dynasty called the Yuan, which is roughly around 14th century. Fun fact here, this is the first dynasty in Chinese history that China was actually ruled by another race, which is the Mongolian. In this book, we follow different POVs, but mainly about two characters, Ouyang and Zhu Zhongba. We also follow two side characters. One is called Yisan, whose father was actually a really important figure under the Yun dynasty, and also a girl called Ma Xiuying, whose father was a dead rebellion general. Zhu Zhongba, in real life, she looks like this. In the Chinese history, Zhu Zhongba is actually a real male figure. In the very beginning of the book, she was living with her family, with her father and brother, but unfortunately they all died because of the famine. Since then, Zhu took up the identity of her brother, Zhu Zhongba, and because somebody told him that he gonna achieve greatness, so our main character Zhu took up this identity to try to achieve greatness in her life. In this book, we will follow her from like a little girl with nothing, and then she escaped to a town ruled by the rebellions, which were called the Red Turban. And even this monk needs to be engaged in a war with the Yuan, and also she needs to survive within these rebellions. And for the other main character, who is called Ouyang, who unfortunately was an eunuch general under a really important Mongolian house. There is a secret part of why this character need to be turned into a eunuch, which was totally unfortunate. And with this past, he didn't really fit into any institution because he was not actually a Mongolian, he was not male, he was not female, and because of all of this pressure, because of all the fate he decided to trap himself into, he wanted to take revenge to the Mongolian. The reason why I really like this book is because I can see how much effort did the author put to do the research about what the Yuan dynasty history was and try to embed it with some fantasy elements. From the costume, from the punishment, Little Guo, if you have read it, geographical location and the importance of some places, official titles and the rankings of it, naming of the characters like Ma. Do you remember the joke? Like Zhu said, your surname is Ma, which means horse. How yin in yin yang was related to ghost, and even just swearing. They are all what happened in the Chinese history. For the fantasy elements in the book, you can see the mandate, which is like a flame if you are like the chosen one, who is gonna be like a ruler or achieve greatness. Prince of Radiance, he got red flame. The Mongolian got the wicked blue because of the uprising. There's one in the Zhang family got orange one. And for our main character, Zhu, which is like no color, just a really bright white color. Maybe because I have studied Chinese history before, all these are like the soft spots of mine and how cleverly they have been included in a fantasy book. Even I know what's going on with the real history, it didn't stop me from reading this book because I am really interested in these characters and all those Easter eggs I can find in this book. And I have a question for those who have read this book. Do these like costumes, do these like little cultural references, do you get it, or you think they're like a bit boring or like I don't get it at all? Let me know in the comment. And the other thing I really like this book is it is really brutal, it is bloody, it is a mess in a good way. You won't know how things gonna turn out until you finish this book. For Zhu, she was always given like the mission impossible. How can you win this big army from the Mongolian? How could you take this walled city easily? Even knowing that Zhu was actually the first empire of the Ming dynasty, I'm still really intrigued to find out how Zhu gonna solve the problem. For Ouyang, we know that he gonna take revenge to the Mongolian. He step by step plotting against them. He even needs to betray the one who arguably care him the most. When you start rooting for one character, maybe they're gonna die soon. So I really like this brutal, fast-paced turn of the book because they are always unexpected. Most importantly, this book explores issues about race and genders. For Ouyang, he was an eunuch general, but because he is a eunuch, it is kind of putting him into like the lowest of the lowest rank of this Mongolian society. You can't say he is a man or he is a woman in this book or under the Chinese history, so you can't have any real power because you are not a complete man. Or even people would make comment about like, oh, you look like a girl. Obviously, he was not happy about it. That's why under all these pressures, under all the past, all the fate that he decided to trap himself into, he wanted to unite all the Nanren, who the easiest way to explain is the non-Mongolian who was actually living in China before they ruled. They united together and tried to overthrow this Mongolian empire. Ouyang was not the only one who tried to overthrow the Mongolian empire, because we also got the rebellions like Chen and Liu. They were also the Nanren who actually lived, or their ancestors lived here before the Mongolian ruled. And you can see the book try to explore issues about identity, about sexuality and races. I hope I can convince you to read this book, She Who Became the Sun, and I can't wait to read the next book. I have pre-ordered the special Waterstones edition of it because that book just looks pretty with a spray edge. I'll let you know how I feel about the ending of the second book, because I think this series only got 2 books only. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you like my sharing about this book, give me a like. I'll see you next time soon. Goodbye.